I don't think religion has failed us personally, because I grew up in a religious home. I grew up Catholic, and I feel like for a basis as to what, to install certain principles, that's where it came from. That's where I got certain values. That's where I got a foundation for what I believe in now. And as I got older, I don't particularly agree with everything that is put forward to me by the religion that I grew up in. Hence why I moved to more spiritual thing, as in. But I also believe that in order to be religious, you already have like a spiritual basis already. I feel like they're intertwined in some way.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel like either like failed or saved me. It's just having both, or kind of growing up religious and understanding more about spirituality, kind of just work together. And
Last question, it was should everyone be spiritual?
Yes, everyone should be spiritual,
I'm
because for
so
me
many
it's
chests beating right now.
My chest is pumping.
because to be spirituality is being like in touch with who you are, like like a higher power,
100%.
like
That's it.
yeah. And everyone needs to be in touch with who they are. Everyone needs
Of
to
course.
know, like, be in tune with like your intuition, everything. So yeah, that's my point.
Okay, cool. I'm going to throw a bit of a spanner in the works in terms of, has it failed us? Has it saved us? The first one I'm going to answer is yes, we should all be spiritual. That is the first thing standardly. But in terms of like, sorry, yeah, I keep looking at you. In terms of has it failed us or saved us? First and foremost, it wasn't for us. I'm just going to put that out there. We can talk about that later. But religion wasn't for us. And there have been circumstances throughout time where it has saved individuals and saved multiples of individuals. So there have been times where religion has saved people. But standardly, religion was not for us. We were not religious. Religion was introduced to us as a people. And when I say us, I'm talking about black people. No offense to anyone else who's not melanated, but got to talk to my people.
So you're saying it's not for us, as in it's not for you, for black people, or for human beings?
From those of African descent.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Has religion failed us? I think religion, in the way that it has been, has failed us. To say religion has failed us as a whole is a big statement. So I wouldn't go with that. Has religion saved us? Again, in the same light, I said I think elements of it have, elements of it haven't. And should everyone be spiritual? I think that's not a question to ask. We're all spiritual beings, so we are spiritual, not should be. You just have to connect with that.
Cool. For me, I don't think religion has failed us. I just don't think so whatsoever. And I feel like if we talk about narratives, so we're speaking about narratives about how it was introduced to us. Well, if you talk about Christianity, for example, that's an Eastern concept. It's not a Western idea, and that wasn't made by it wasn't made by like Western forces. The story of Jesus, for example, isn't Western. It's not European, and that's something that we just need to, in terms of the argument against colonialism. If we talk about the Bible interpreted as a tool, as a device used for slavery, then yeah, that's what's gone in it. But if we're talking about, the Bible as inherently being something that's been used against us, I would disagree. And I just like to say, like, all people of religion, like, have found, a safe haven in what they believe in, and I'm a full supporter of people of faith.
Can we just do the question again?
Has religion failed us? Can it save us? Or should we be spiritual? Or should we all be spiritual?
Okay, so I don't think religion has failed us, because there are still people that do find and seek solace in religion. But I feel like it's always down to the own individual. I could grow up as a Christian and I could feel no way about it. You know, in terms of spirituality, I'm a spiritual person myself. I grew up Christian, and I delved into spirituality for the same reason of seeking myself, learning more about myself, but also becoming more in tune. And it has helped me a lot, and I know that a lot of people can also be helped this way. A lot of people, especially young people, we don't know where we are half the time. We don't know what we want. If we actually deep it, you think you want a nice car, but really, what's the real reason you want that nice car? And when you become spiritual, you become more enlightened and clarity comes to you. And I didn't get that from Christianity at all. I just kind of got told that, you know, I need to obey my mum and dad and I can't do this and I can't do that. So, yeah.
Okay, first I want to say there's like this whole trend thing about being spiritual now that's come out of the blue. Everyone's being spiritual is like the new thing. It's like, so that kind of speaks within itself. You can't have religion without spirituality, but you can have spirituality without religion. And I want that to sink in for everyone. Like, religion can't exist without spirituality, but spirituality does not need religion. So religion is based off spirituality. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. Okay, and being religious religion is relying on certain principles to keep your spirit intact. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So you got morals and principles that these commandments have, but spiritually wise, if your spirit's strong, you don't need these principles to say, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Do you understand? You shouldn't disobey your mother, honor your mother. That's just point blank. The woman's raised you. Do you understand? So has religion failed us? Yes. And I stand by that because I feel like it's led us to believe blindly, and I feel like that's dangerous because being in the society we're in now, or just the environment we're in, the generation, we follow trends. People follow trends, and if you see people running, we're just gonna start running. Usually, like that's just natural instinct. So something so important and so at the core of our being, you can't really follow blindly because we're all different. We all have different fingerprints. So there's no way you can say, this religion is right, this religion is right, this religion is right. Everyone's spirituality is different, and that's why we've got so many different religions because there's different culture interpretations of spirituality. And I don't disregard religion, but the way it's led us to now, it's really messed us up. But if we didn't fall in the first place, we wouldn't need religion. Does that make sense? Religion's like trying to get us back on track. It's not something to lynch onto. So most people go into religion to find themselves and then leave. Like a lot of my friends have been religious for a while and then kind of came out of it. No disrespect to anyone who's still religious, but it's kind of like you learn certain, or have been brought up in a religious household, and then when they're older, it's like, no, I don't want to go to church, but I know I pray every day. I pray before I eat. I give thanks to the Most High for bringing me on this earth. I have plants in my house. These kind of things like, oh, I'm connected to nature. That's not religious. And don't think, oh, I've got those principles from religion. That's how can I say it? You don't need religion to have that. You'd always be brought back to that in your life anyway. Religion's kind of that void that we fall into with the society. Like religion's, as someone said, a safe haven or something. It's true, it is, but it's a dangerous one. It's like, cool. Yeah, so what was the last question? Can't save us. No, you can only save yourself. We're all spirit, us. Yeah.
Personally, I don't think religion has failed us because, like you were saying, at the heart of religion is spirituality, and spirituality like is just a relationship with yourself, and religion obviously gives you that, but you always have that, like you're saying. But yeah, I think personally that it's not failed because your religion is you. Like if you interpret all what religions used to say, because they all basically are one thing. I mean, like, so I don't agree with what you were saying about it's not for us, because even Eastern religions, where like Christianity came from, actually came back again, obviously, to old African spiritual beliefs and motives, like a Sa, a Set, and a Haru, like the mum, the son, and the child, like that. The Holy Trinity was interpreted into like Eastern philosophy, and then Westerns took that from there and made their own thing, and then conquered with it. Like it is for us because it's intrinsically ours, because it's everyone's. Like so, and all they understood was that spirituality, things they named as gods outside of themselves that they looked at, was just a description of shit going on inside of them. Just like the same way, like the sun revolves around the earth revolves around the sun, like. It has a nucleus, obviously, like things are revolving around the nucleus. Your cells reflect the same thing. That's what they thought. So they understood like that. You know, it's just a description. Like me naming that is just a description of myself. And people make that into religions, and that's cool. Like, you know, like you're saying, it gives us a good basis and principles of how to treat ourselves and everything outside of us, like with respect or whatever, and have a good time while we're here. But at the end of the day, like, it's all down to you, because that's why there's so many different sects. Like you're saying, like people are going to interpret it so many different ways. So there's always going to be religion because it's with you. Like, so it's just about how you treat yourself and how you use that spirituality. Because like you're saying, with spiritual beings having a human experience, how are you going to treat that and like have a, you know, what type of life that you want? I don't know, on this planet. Like, I don't know. That's how I see it personally. Like,
so do all of you guys believe in God?
yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
With a capital G or lowercase G?
That's actually a good question.
No.
That is a good question.
So you guys all believe in God?
Money is God.
Do you want to explain that?
Who can live without money in this world? What's a God? What is God? What is God? Any definitions?
Believing in a higher power, like
A higher power.
like something.
That's a whole question.
That's a whole question.
Wait.
Yeah.
Pause.
That's a whole
That's a
question.
whole
I think
question.
it's connected.
That's a
though. I
whole
think it's
question.
connected. You know why?
I like that question.
Just because I feel like in terms of like the vehicle, how do you interact with that God? How do you understand that God? What is your means of you know connecting with God? You know, I feel like that just really goes back to, like, for example, like obviously for me, I come from a Christian background, and I would just say that is the way I connect with God. Like that's just as simple as it is.
For me, God is the being that I understand God as the being that made me, that I made in His image.
Yeah.
Basically, that's who God is to me.
I heard, what's it called? I was gonna say though, this whole thing about like spirituality, man hears that as well, but I just feel like there's no discipline in it.
There's not meant to be.
And for me, if you're from like, I don't know, I'll be honest with you, you know, I come from a place of like, I'm not speaking for everyone, but I come from like a lot of hardship. And in order for you to, in order for you to overcome it, I really feel like you need discipline sometimes, innit?
Yeah,
Those hard rules, like that, you know, you
Can you give an example of the lack of discipline in spirituality?
I mean in the sense of like you essentially are free to not just understand as you are, just to do as you please. You know what I'm trying to say?
No, you're not.
Where?
Because
The
you
reason for
have
that
a
is
different
free will.
interpretation of religion. Like
That's what I'm saying.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Religion
So-
can be applied to everything. Your family structure in your household is a religion. You try and back chat to your mum when you're 5 years old and you're getting boxed. You're not doing that. Like that's a religion. You ain't gonna go against that rule in that family religion because it's a structure. Like that's all it is. Like it's a wider structure from your family. Like it all starts with the family. Like.
No, but what do you mean though? What do you mean?
Like
by
you
that?
can apply like religions. Everything you can make a set of rules to anything in life and call it a religion. That's how religions get made. There's more than just Christianity. There's bare thousands of religions in this world.
Yeah,
People believe in different things.
spaghetti.
It's just one set of rules that people come up with, and your family structure is part of that. Doesn't mean you're free. I'm not religious. I grew up in a household that was, like Christian. I went to a Catholic school. So you're right, it gives you principles, but I'm not gonna go out and go and like kill someone because I've got those principles. It gave me the basis. I understand, but that family structure keeps me there, like doing that. I'm not gonna.
No, but what I'm trying
how
to say
I was
to you-
raised gave me that.
Let me
Yeah,
give
like,
it.
I want to, because I feel like I get what you're trying to say. I feel like, and it links back to what Jess was saying earlier on in the fact that she doesn't feel like religion failed her because it gave her a basis of morals.
Exactly.
I think that in that sense might link to what you're saying about having a discipline. I think religion gives you a basis, like a discipline, things that you have to like follow. And I think, even in society, and you were saying something about how, you don't need religion to know,
to give you morals. You don't
to
need
to
honor your mum and not kill anyone. You don't need.
But how
To
did
tell you
how
that
did we?
if your mum raises you, you're not gonna go and do that to your mum.
But
You
guys,
don't
I'm getting
need-
that like
How did you-
sometimes communication within the house isn't that great.
Exactly.
So sometimes
Not
you're not
everyone
going
has
to
that.
to
like,
want to do
your
that?
parents,
That's
you know that you
privilege,
can't
yeah,
do
but say that.
certain
That comes-
things, right? And then, but you sometimes you get the age and you don't want to obey your parents. You're like, they're not cool. Like I don't want to follow what you're doing. And like for example, but you have to go to church every Sunday, and then there's like a
That happens anyway, though. That happens
that's-
anay.
And
It
it's
can still happen in the same.
There's that whole thing of the pastor's daughter. Why? Because you're like trying to like force one thing on a human being, and they might, being in this in extreme religious context, might lash out opposingly as I don't know, as big as what's being forced on them. Like, do you guys trying to say that a big pressure's being put on them, so they burst out the other side on an extreme tip, and they do some mad shit. That's why that stereotype exists.
My question.
Can I just add as well that there are rules within spirituality. Talk about the law of karma. That's what goes around comes around. That's basically told you if you do something bad, that is going to come back to you in one form or another. The divine, they've got another law, and it's the law of divine oneness and wholeness.
But
That
listen,
if something affects me, it's going to affect somebody else in the long run. There are laws and rules about it, but just because it's not saying the big gates of hell are going to open up and you're going to drop straight in it doesn't mean there's no rules there.
No,
There
but-
is rules.
We're doing the same thing. We're
no
both
one's
killing
no one's
someone on the
out
street.
Listen, no one.
We both believe different things, but we both have similar principles. Like we have different religions.
Your religion has stemmed from universal laws.
Yeah,
That's
that's
how
how
you.
No,
That's
wait.
why.
No.
asking you.
Take time. Take time. Everybody
If you disagree, say so. Let's have a conversation about it.
That's a bit left.
No.
Because I would say it's the opposite. I would say spirituality and law of karma. What you sow, you reap. In the Bible, it talks about sowing and reaping.
Yeah.
It talks about sowing and reaping, asking and receiving. So I can easily just say that spirituality have ripped off the principles of Christianity.
No,
and
but the word Christianity came from. But what are you talking about? Christianity came from paganism, which
Where
is
does karma come from? Yeah,
paganism is out there. Paganism has no boundaries. Paganism is spirituality is the new word for paganism. Basically,
It is.
basically, and Christianity as a Abrahamic religion, as like one of the four or three, whatever, like it comes from paganism. Like for example, like the holidays that you celebrate. Christmas, for example, is given to you.
No one said about celebrating Christmas.
Yeah, but
You said
this is
anything
a
about
staple
celebrating
because
Christmas. You said anything about Easter. No
I'm
one
just
said
saying,
anything about it.
like the holidays that you follow now.
Who
as a
follows? Who follows?
Yeah, but like, there are people. That's what I'm saying. Like there are Christians who do this subjective. It's
No,
to you.
There's Easter Sunday. There's the Good Friday. There's
What was
things
no?
that-
But obviously,
it's
we're
like
making.
services,
No, listen.
those days.
You guys are making
There's bear
assumptions
in
about.
them.
You guys are making assumptions about faith, innit?
We're not. We're giving
talking
the
about
history.
religion.
Let's-
That's
The
what
history
I'm
behind
trying to
that
understand.
tradition,
We're talking
right
about
now,
religion
presently, comes
versus
from
spirituality.
paganism, like pagan gods of the god of Pan, like around Easter time. Like you have all of these names, even in
it's
the
from
etymology. Ishtar,
Loads of
it's
them.
Easter. Like it. That's where it comes from. Like I'm
It
saying,
does.
like
Thousands of years
before.
Christianity.
Even
It's
Passover.
nuts.
Even
It's just happening.
Wait, can I just say? I want to go back to the discipline of spirituality.
That's what I wanted to ask you, the discipline thing. I was
I
interested.
feel like that's very key. So, obviously, the media is very powerful.
because
Like the media is very powerful, and the way spirituality has been kind of projected or portrayed is this whole hippie free, no bra, titty wearing, flowers in head kind of movement, when it's really not that.
What is discipline under you guys?
So
You mentioned the word discipline. You said spirituality doesn't have discipline.
Yeah. Okay. So what?
So
you're
what is
saying
it?
that
I didn't actually say that.
Wait,
no,
can I
but
finish?
You did. You said
Spirituality is so disciplined, you got your religion from it. And there's
Yeah.
so many different
No, but that's
religions.
the
Okay,
same.
okay,
Why-
guys, guys,
Wait,
guys,
we live in a world.
guys, you know what? I feel like if we do that, we're gonna go back and forth because I can now, we're gonna get like very theoretic, and I
Yeah,
can
man, it's
theoretic.
more than
It's history. It's history.
Hold on, guys, hold on, because we can go. This is what like religious debates are always like.
This is not
So
religious
if-
debate. This is
Is
a
there any
historical
Muslims?
debate right now.
Are there any Muslims in the room? Throw a Muslim in
Yeah,
here, and they will say some of the same things. Where we'll go back and forth and saying, oh well, Islam started first and Christianity ripped off Islam.
We're not having that conversation. We're not having that conversation.
Let's not have that conversation.
That's
Let's
long.
not go there.
That's long.
Let's
We're
not
not having
go
that
there.
conversation.
Let's
You know
not
why?
go
You know
with
why?
Christianity
Well,
ripped
I'm
off
saying this goes back to
This goes back to the
actual point. You're not listening. You're not listening to what we're actually saying. This goes back to the actual point of what we're saying. Why are we even talking about religion and spiritualism when you don't need when spirituality is the heart of religion? That's what we're
And you
saying.
said it yourself.
Because it's a historical thing.
She said it herself.
How people came.
for all of them.
How religion came about was through first spiritual means, which is paganism.
Let's say
And which is-
religion did come
it's
from
not a-
spirituality, right? Let's just say that.
Let's say what?
Religion came from spirituality. Let's just say, for example, that, right? And we said we're spiritual beings, right? And you guys are kind of saying that discipline, you don't need religion, and because there are rules in spirituality.
Yeah.
Let's say you're not really in touch with your spirituality, right? Then you're not going to be in touch with these rules and your parents don't really our parents don't really have this spiritual thing. They're more like it's religion. So what happens there is that the easier thing to kind of give you principles will be religion, because you're not in touch with spirituality, and you know what I mean. So you will much easier you follow religion much more, you'll be inclined to follow religion because the spirituality isn't.
I did say religion is that safe haven, and it's kind of led you a course, because now it's like blind faith. You're not even willing to go on that journey you're supposed to be going on for your spirituality. You're just blindly following these rules that you've been.
Let me keep it 100.
Assumptions
I'll
to
keep
the
it
fullest, because
100%.
my faith takes me on a hell of a
have
journey.
faith.
Do you know why she's
We
saying
all have
that?
faith.
You know,
The only
I'm
reason
saying
why
it's not because I think that's a big statement to make, and say that your religion is not giving you, it's not allowing you go on a because what you're saying, religion making a basis for spirituality. That's in terms of it having a set of rules that you follow before you become in touch with your spirituality. I wouldn't even say that. I don't for me, I don't separate the two. My being a Christian is a spiritual journey. Everything I do within Christianity takes me on a spiritual journey, connects me with myself. The person who created me, God, everything that I interact, the way I interact with him, it's helping me find myself. So I don't now have a separation of saying, oh, my spirituality journey is now on this side, and then religion is now these rules that I follow. No,
I think the point I made was kind of to debate with them that discipline doesn't always stem from spirituality. That religion sometimes can help you get that discipline.
It just helps. It's like
but
organizing
you can kind of
the
have
way you look at
spirituality
shit,
within religion.
I was also gonna add as well, I just had to lose my point right now.
While you think about it, I do agree with the whole. I'm not trying to say that spirituality is here and religion's here. I'm not trying to say being religious is okay. In a way, I do believe that it does lead you astray a little bit, because not astray. But listen.
Can I ask a
When you're
question?
in religion, one second, I don't want to forget. When you're in religion, okay, it's like a safety net, not like a basket you're in, okay? You won't go beyond a certain point because of the confinements within a religion.
They're talking about
I'm not
monotheistic-
saying
they're
about
talking
Christianity.
monotheistic
'cause-
religion.
Sorry?
They're talking about monotheistic religion.
Yes.
English now.
Okay.
Not everyone here is doing
Religion that
qualification.
implies you worship one God.
Yeah.
Monotheistic.
Yeah.
Like,
Not
Yeah,
really.
so-
No, I don't agree with that.
Why?
And I don't agree with both what you're saying because like
I was asking.
you're saying that they blindly follow rules, yeah. Like that's what you were insinuating, like when you said that. But I mean, like
But
at the same time, like I can't agree because like you also follow rules, like I was saying, like religion of your family and your morals that you were given to not do certain things in life. You're not out there doing some mad thing right now. Like your family in that way is your religion, is organized you and giving you that like organization to how you look at the world, which is spiritual experience, isn't it?
So
And
you're
the
talking
religion
about
does the same thing. Like
talking
it's just a
about-
different narrative, but because not all.
if you're not okay with the
not all-
narrative,
but not all people in a certain religion will agree with one narrative. Like there's people in Christianity who don't think that, I don't know, like don't agree with certain parts of the Bible.
Yeah, like okay, so
do you
like,
get what I mean? Like there's levels. It's just different language.
yeah,
of how,
yeah.
It's basically the same thing, but it's different language
Let
and
me
levels
add
how
to
we're
it.
looking at it.
let me just add to what you're saying there. All you people that are against religion, yeah.
I'm not against
You are
religion.
all you people that all you people that are saying
You
that.
can't be against
No, but
religion.
hear what I'm
I'm
saying.
not against religion.
Just hear what I'm saying.
Living it.
Because let's just keep it 100. Everybody that's saying, I don't really feel this religion. Let me tell you something. The very, like, you living in this world, you're benefit of the creation of religion out here. You are a byproduct of having your greatness. Yeah, a lot of the things that you think, yeah, it's me that done that. It's come from your religious upbringing. So why are you hating for?
It's not a
It's come from your religious upbringing.
It's not a
religious
hate.
upbringing. I'm not. I'm Catholic school.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But you're living in a society,
It's
yeah.
your parents didn't have to be religious for you
Yeah.
to be benefiting from the
There are
Parents
people who
don't
are
have to be
atheists
religious.
who are-
reaping the
there are
fruits
families
of
who
religion.
don't
Like
believe
even
in that.
And
your
then what
great
privilege
impact.
have they
Can
got?
I make a
Just
disclaimer?
clear
we
what they've got.
swear on the Bible.
What are the fruits of
Disclaimer.
religion? Like,
You
what
get tried at court for killing someone because
Because
you
it's a
know
Christian
not to
state.
murder.
It's a Christian state.
No, but it's not. But
Can I make a disclaimer?
There are people who grew up without Christianity in that religion in the jungle who don't have to for you to go there
Are you
and
the
tell
jungle?
them that. Yeah, but are they self-destruction and killing each other? No, they're living peacefully with the land.
No, but are
they
you in
didn't
the
need
jungle?
your religion.
Are you in the
But this is
jungle?
what I'm saying. It's not just about jungle. It's about human society and social development. They are obviously able to continually create a strong, stable community with each other and have that sustain over generations and generations by having principles. They did not need Christianity to do that. They did not need Islam to do that. They did not any religion. They created their own infrastructure. That is why I'm saying the family is the first religion in that way, because it's your principles, and that's what helps you go out into the world and interact with shit on the spiritual experience.
It's
different, bro.
Yeah, no,
But
of
see
course.
that.
Then again, but what is you? Because what you're saying is very limited. Even in the Bible, before the Bible was created, especially in the Old Testament, they didn't have, before Moses wrote the Ten Commandments, they didn't have no rule book. Abraham didn't really have he didn't have he connected with God. He encountered God.
Wait,
It
there
was
wasn't-
Moses.
wait, I just want to confirm. There wasn't one before the Ten Commandments. Is that what
I'm
you're
saying,
the Ten Commandments was the Ten Commandments. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that there weren't
first
the way
rule.
we have the
That was
the
the first
Bible.
rule.
I'm not gonna get
Yeah.
Well, you know what's mad though? These lot, everyone here is subconsciously religious. Like,
That's
you
why
know
I'm
how
saying,
here screaming you're not going to the mosque, you're not going to the church, but because of the fact, because it's the creation of society. Even if you go into Islam for example, and you delve into that and you look at the organization of a society, and you actually deep it.
Yes, but before there was a story, before there was a book and a story or a narrative written down, it existed in the minds of people first. That's what we're saying. Before any written language, before any human being wrote this concept down, it existed in our minds and we just did it. And then someone made it a story, and someone made their own story, and then someone made their own written stories. Evolution and human social development happened, and then you have different books and different things and laws. Actual concrete things people are building on. it started here first, collectively.
The Quran, for
I'm
example,
actually very
like I was talking about,
content
like one of my boys is Muslim, and he was, to be fair, we're always having these kind of conversations, but he was basically saying the Quran before it was written, it was just recited.
Yeah,
So
that's what it's.
he used to
Quran
pray.
means the
Yeah,
recitation.
Exactly. He
The
used to
verbal,
pray.
it was through
And
song,
he
it's through
couldn't
African
read.
tribe,
He couldn't
song and
read.
light.
He used to pray.
Around
He
the
used to
fire,
do
bro.
whatever the prayer was, and his mom used to say that word was wrong by hearing it.
Yeah,
Not
that's
by
why they
reading it.
sing.
Not by reading
That's
it.
why they sing.
And then apparently that was translated from words at the time that the Quran was
beautiful,
written.
man.
Apparently,
Like-
during the time. Was the time of like poetry, and like poetry and communication was at its finest. And apparently, like in one prayer of about 3 lines in the Quran, there's like 70 different linguistic devices. Like basically, the Quran is this mad, complicated book that came from mouth, or that came from mind, really and truly, going back from what you said. Same with, for example, back to what you said, just to kind of get it out there, because I feel bad for myself for not saying it. Before the 10 Commandments, there was a book. Like the 10 Commandments did come from a book.
Yeah.
And there was more than 10 Commandments. There was 42. But
Laws.
that's,
Laws.
you know what I mean? That's the conversation. If you want to research and get into that, that's not for me to tell you, innit? But if your belief is that the 10 Commandments is the 10 Commandments, that's it. That's why I said it has helped. By the way, I need to hold my hands up. My first statement wasn't correct.
older.
When I said religion is not for us, it's my personal vendetta against Christianity, if I'm honest with you. So that's why I said that.
But it's
Because
not,
there are
because you
some
can't,
reli-
it's
but I
the
do-
same
but
thing
I'll
though,
be
there are
honest, I do
Christians
have a-
who also have the same perspective as you, like you can't
No,
say
that's
that.
what I said. But personally, like I said, I have a personal vendetta against Christianity in it. That's
Same.
my personal thing in it. Exactly. But
As long as
bottom
it's
line,
not your own
again,
thing,
but-
Yeah,
That's
just
what's
say, I was
fun.
like, that's,
Yeah,
we were
that's
waiting
what's
for you
fun.
guys to say, just say
Fair
that.
enough.
That's cool. Like, it's alright, innit? Like,
No,
there's
but my point is again specifically to Christianity, because
like,
religion,
just say that.
religion in this conversation, religion in this conversation, based on what you said, I've gone raw. You know what? That is actually another way to look at religion in terms of the family. I'm open-minded to say, you know what? That
Well,
actually
a
makes
form
sense.
of
The family,
control.
the form of control, which, to be fair, is in the way again for me personally in my personal vendetta to Christianity. I can relate that straight back to Christianity and go, you know what? That's why for me, Christianity as a religious construct is not for me. Yet I am still a very spiritual being. That's my point. Full stop. If it is for you and it's a safe haven, that's what I said. Like,
No, but for me, it's like, listen, whether you're Muslim, Christian, or Buddha, wherever you're on, knowledge should always be the purpose, innit? And we talk about seeing people that do wrong, that claim to be of a certain religion,
yeah.
they're just not wise.
Like
what-
everything
you just
is
said the
taken
same-
advantage
you know what I mean?
of.
And
You
if
can't
wanna-
just say,
they're just not wise,
Christianity, personal vendetta against Christianity because Christians are killing people.
And
Someone will always take advantage.
that was
People,
my point.
people will always take advantage of something. Like you can't now use that as a ruse because they're doing it in other religions. Other religions are killing people based on their religion.
Have you not seen
because their
Crazy
religion,
Atheists, though?
their religion is the religion, so they are using that as a way to kill people. So you can't use that to attach that just to Christianity. They're doing it in other religions. So if you want to go down that route, then surely have a vendetta against
I
any
said
other
nothing about killing
religion.
anyone.
I would,
You know,
I
I'm
would-
just-
I would-
yeah.
I would also say is I just
didn't-
feel like
Or,
I didn't say nothing about Christianity killing anyone. I don't get your point.
and I'm saying
I said I
that
have a personal vendetta.
yeah,
And I said
personal
it's not for
vendetta,
me.
of course, yeah.
But
It
I
has
would,
nothing to do with killing.
Okay.
Like,
I
Can
would
I make a
just,
disclaimer as well? Sorry.
yeah, go and make your disclaimer.
Now I want to say, like, biblically, like the Bible has a lot in there. Like I would never knock the Bible.
man.
It's a sacred book.
there's a lot to learn
Respect.
about.
To learn,
It's
yeah?
a sick
On
book,
the
fam.
name.
I'll slap respect on the Bible.
That's
yeah?
what's up.
Slap
That's
respect
what's
on the
up.
Bible.
Let's
But-
respect.
However,
But know where it came
however,
from.
there are many books,
Loads.
thousands of books that need to put respect. And
Yeah,
my
yeah,
problem
yeah.
is the isolation of the Bible and the heightened, the glorification of the Bible. There's so many other sacred texts. Like I remember I met this man and he had the Quran, the Bible. It's like, yeah, I read each one. I alternate. He's like,
Definitely.
wise guy. Okay, reads all of them. Then you've got. I don't respect the whole. This is where religion upsets me, is because it's like the isolation. It's like a box. It's like I've kind of, obviously your spiritual journey is about finding what's right for you, like regardless of what that is. But I feel like it kind of doesn't allow you to do that yourself. Does that make sense?
Like you need assistance. Like you need us to find
a pastor to interpret the Bible, which is why we go to church.
So
well, that's not why we go to church, though.
Yeah, that's not the
why we
essence
go
of
to church.
that's not the essence of church.
capital C or lowercase c. What church are we talking
If you
about?
can read the
No,
Bible,
but that's not what
and
but that's not what scripture says.
so.
Church. That's not what scripture
They don't
says.
like my
Church
word
is
of
for
God. They don't like church,
church
they
is
don't like church.
like
But how much things does scripture say that Christians actually do?
Okay, then that's different. That's different. If
I'm
you're saying
saying,
Christians aren't following the Bible, that's different. But for you to say that, the essence of almost insinuate the essence of going to church is for the pastor to help you interpret the Bible. That's not correct. Even Bible doesn't say that.
I want to give a
What's
personal.
indoctrination?
I want to give a personal anecdote here because I've just been
I'm trying
chatting.
to get your point.
And I'm just trying to say,
point.
listen,
Like, I'm
from
trying
my
to get your point.
perspective, innit, obviously, yeah, man's like, for a long time, yeah, man just been like, nah, just like, fuck religion, innit, for a long time, innit. And I'll
The
be honest,
spirit's awakening.
I'll be honest with you, that's what I was on. And then recently, and it's been a while now, I've just literally embraced what's been true all this time, is that I'm reaping the rewards and the benefit of coming from such an immense and deep family structure that's born out of faith, love, and literally the way that I'm gonna practice my discipline is literally reading holy books and just embracing what is God for me. And I genuinely believe, yeah, people out here that have stuff to say about religion, yeah, that's all cool, we can say it, yeah, but they're the same people that are mixing and like chopping and changing whatever they want to change. Like, listen, the Bible is not changing if you don't want it to change. Now, if you want to read it for what it is, you can read it for what it is. If you don't, you don't. That's what I believe. Thank you.
So that was the question.
I hear that.
So I'm just asking a little question. It's kind of maybe a bit more into the religious side of things, but why is it that it's always left down to the mother/woman to be the spiritual provider, e.g., keep faith, while the men get more and more distant from religion and the older they get?
That's interesting. In reality, that is what is happening, but that is not the design for women to carry the torch of faith or Christianity. I think I would even like somewhat link it back to some of the things that we talked about earlier in just like the family structure and men's place in the family structure right now. I think that has had a large impact on how religion is like as well, just like in society. And I even want to like relate it specifically to black families and the family structure in black families and men basically who are there not being there, and then women having to take the torch for whether that's leading the home financially, and that would also then be leading the home spiritually, whatever that, like, women have now been made to be in charge because men aren't there due to like various reasons. Obviously, like earlier on you were talking about how the prison system, like men just being taken from their place basically. Society taking men from their place through prison, throwing them in jail.
Who protects you in that?
Yeah, exactly.
Who protects you? Who's protecting the single parent household?
Hold, exactly.
The single woman the evil status quo, the structure that is society has decided that BME men and women shouldn't be together. So let's just separate them. And the woman decides that who's gonna give her solace, who's gonna protect her, who's gonna allow her to feel like she can carry on and keep going, bro. And like,
this is the society that you give credit to religion for. So on that basis, can we say that religion failed us?
I like you, bro. I actually like you, bro. I swear down. I like you still. Bro, what I would say to you is that we talk about historical and conversations and like the rationalization of ideas, but what I'm speaking about is the applicability of stuff. I'm done with all of this kind of like thought processes of it's all good and well, yeah, when we're trying to tackle a concept that is theoretical. But when I'm thinking about how I'm gonna get food next week. I'm just gonna pray to God to give me hope to persevere, and I'm gonna go and get this money.
This is where I get lost, because that is very ironic. You're talking about applicability. Praying
To God.
to
get
God
you food next week.
about
I didn't
food
say
next
to
week
God.
is not
Next
application
week.
to get you food next week.
Yeah,
You understand? That kind of blind faith is dangerous.
What's blind faith? I'm
Say-
putting
can
in
you
the
say
work.
that-
Oh, yeah.
Can you say that sentence again then?
So you
Because-
should have.
No,
So-
you're assuming that he's
wrong,
praying and then not going out
Going
and doing
to
work.
go and get out
It
the
was
food.
like-
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, like,
I don't have
surely-
to teach you this lot.
Surely-
Like, I'm a hustler, you know. I don't have to teach you this.
Bro, like, I agree with what you're saying, you know, like I agree with what you're saying about you know having control and structure, because obviously that's why I'm saying like what you're saying is basically the same thing. Religion is all down to you, it's how you structure yourself, innit? I think you've assumed that all religion structure has bigger structures, and then you are bound to them. But that's what I'm saying, like in that people choose what they still want to believe and what they don't want to believe. Like not every Christian believes the same thing. Like some of them just ignore certain things and do certain, like, do you get what I mean? Like it just person to person. So it's control, because at the end of the day, that's how human beings get shit done. Like that's why you have a religion with yourself. You control yourself. That's what your spirituality is. Like, and then when you control yourself, you can, go out into the world and do whatever you need to do. Like, it's still control. Human beings want that.
Yeah, so just going back to something you said in the very beginning, and when he asked if it failed us, and you said, in terms of the black community, like that the Bible wasn't really used as a tool against the black man. Is that what you meant?
No, yeah.
You did say that. I was going to ask you about it.
I
Because
said
it
that.
was.
Me.
Yeah,
Me.
that's
You said it wasn't.
very fair.
That's what I was probably
It
gonna
wasn't
ask you.
used as a tool.
Well, you said like it
Yeah.
didn't like work like as a tool against like the black.
No, that's what I said it
community.
did.
Oh.
I would never say that.
Yeah.
I would never say that. I would never say that.
He was saying to me this whole time. I was like, I need to ask him about this.
I would never say
Special
that.
proper lesson, man.
Man.
Remember you said I was going to talk. I was actually going to ask.
No, I would never say that. But I'm like very, very, and obviously because I've been in a position where I've just been very angry at religious people. I've been there, and I just feel like it's not that deep. Like, let's chill. Like, let's not get angry at them anymore. Like, because I'm not even angry at myself. Like, why are we vexed that people are, decide to worship hopefully to what they believe in? And I just see there's a growing community, and it's just flourishing of just people that, because they're atheists. I just see people that scream atheism now. They basically just hate religious people. And I just feel like that's something that we shouldn't be spreading out here, man.
Not just this, but I've had friends who have told me that they've had to leave the churches that they've been attending because it's come somewhat cultish, in the sense where they can't do this without telling father, or they can't tell the pastor this, or anytime something happens, they want to go on holiday with their partner, or they have to go and consult pastor or reverend first. Like that, see, again, that could also be something that is creating that hatred towards religion as well, because it's that element of control there that is too much. I'm pretty sure the Bible does stress that we have free will.
Yeah.
Every religion talks about we have free will, and for me it was that whole controlling element that turned me slightly away, because I don't like being scared into things. I don't want to say, like, we're human beings, we're all gonna do wrong in our lives, but I don't want to think like I'm gonna go to hell for eternity now because I've done this and I've done that. God is meant to be accepting and forgiving and loving to everybody. Do you know what I mean? So it's a weird one, man. It's a weird one.
Juxtaposition in your brain, I feel that's so dangerous.
So in
Like
closing,
God's all loving, but I'll go to hell if I do wrong.
This is what
God
bugs
loves me regardless
That's
of
what
anything,
bugs
but
me.
if I do wrong, I'll go to hell. I couldn't, at 7, I was like, no, I was
Burn for
in my
eternity.
bedroom like,
You have to do
I don't get it. To reply about that juxtaposition, I'm open.
I think you know what? If you read the Bible, and if you've read the Bible is full of juxtapositions. I'm not even going to.
I respect that.
I'm not going to chat like the Bible is actually full of juxtapositions. The Bible says, the Bible talks about,
Turn your own cheek up.
through Jesus Christ, you have authority and power to do certain things, but it also tells you that there's a level of submission you have to, like, it's full of side by side things. It talks about riches, and it talks about poverty. It's full of juxtapositions. But the way I see that is I see that as life, because life is full of juxtapositions, and I feel like the Bible factors in for every, like, the other half, if that makes any sense. It factors for the other side. So I can't sit down here and say, I haven't sat down and been like, yo, what does that mean though? But I question it, and I'm on a journey of continually questioning, asking those questions that you've just asked. But for me, I feel like when I weigh things up in my Christian faith, the things that go really well are here. And that question, like, I still ask it, but the things that have gone well compared to the things that have gone bad, it's just like that question it will get answered at some point.
So in closing, is it fair to say that religion maybe hasn't failed us, or has it failed us? Also, when you guys to touch upon if you guys feel like there's a heaven or hell, or you're going to hell, etc., etc.
Chill.
No.
This is. Can you just answer that? It's
I'm
just like
You
say
You're going to
summarize
hell.
it. How can you say summarize and then say, and then you have to answer if there's a heaven and a hell? Do you want us to?
Bro, was like, bro, listen, you don't know what hell is, like.
Yo, that's a lot.
Because we touched 45 minutes.
Exactly, it's a lot.
Can we just summarize basically what you guys have talked about and what your position is? So, okay.
That, yeah, like I've been screaming about this entire time. Like, you are your own religion, and religion is about control, and you are trying to control your life. So find something that works for you and do it. Just don't fucking look at what anyone else is doing. Done.
I kind of respect that. We're all on our own journey.
30 seconds, by the way.
They're rude. Cool. Right, we're all on our own journey, and different things work for different people. But I feel like, you know, everyone should read more books than just one. That's all.
Yeah, I guess I basically believe in that as well. It's all a matter of one's own interpretation, and as long as it works for you and it's not harming anybody, do your thing. I'm probably going to hell, but you know, like.
Oh yeah, I'm already in hell. I'm already in hell. We all burning right now.
To be fair, the Bible says.
That's long. That's long.
I was just gonna say, like, man's been on this like atheist talk for years. Like, man's been there, innit? And right now, the way I'm in my life is just like, I'm not out here judging people. I've like seen how my faith has led me to just beat obstacles. And in the life that I'm living right now, yeah, with so many like issues and struggles, yeah, like faith and just love has been conquering all. And that's been like my relationship, my growing relationship with the church. So that's just basically it.
Yeah, just off the back of that, like, I love my faith. My faith gives me hope, gives me community, gives me love, gives me identity. Like, I you know what? You know when you can't explain something, you can't explain it. I go to church and I leave feeling gassed about the week, every single week. Like, it doesn't miss me. And that feeling, I would not exchange it for anything in the world. That's my take.
Some people are religious, some people are not. Again, back to my point that I said from the very beginning, you know what I mean? For me, it's not a question of whether it's failed us or it's done good for us. I can see and understand where it has done good for some people based on their testimonies or whatever it is, in terms of how they describe whatever they do. But that's them. Me personally, religion is not for me. Yes, we all are spiritual. Yes, we should continue to be spiritual. But I do promote open-mindedness. Be open-minded. I'll definitely recommend that. Be open-minded and understand that people will always have a different perspective to you. You may agree with people on certain things, but you're not going to agree with everyone about everything. So be open-minded. Prepare to learn. Signing out.
Pretty much what everyone said. We all have different belief systems.
Wow.
No, I'm just saying I agree with what everyone else said. We all have different belief systems. If religion works for you, that's great. Spirituality works for you, that's great, as long as no one is kind of having blind obedience. Yeah, works for you, works for you.